Today I visit with multi-talented artist Steve Peters of California, Missouri. I'm Rick J., and this is Spotlight on the Arts. Welcome to Spotlight on the Arts, coming to you from the studio of Steve Peters. I also would like to call him Dr. Peters, coming to you from a studio in California, Missouri. I'd ask you to please join me in welcoming Mr. Peters to Spotlight on the Arts and listen to his story, which is really in depth. Quite a story, Mr. Peters. Steve, if I may.
Yes, you may. Now, please don't set me up for failure.
Oh, okay, very good. Well, this is your first visit to Spotlight on the Arts. And I've been looking forward to your interview since a previous interview. Julie Campbell out of the Kansas City area encouraged me to get in touch with you. So, Julie, I want to thank
great.
Julie for such a great opportunity.
Yes.
Well, Steve, first, share with the viewers a little bit about Steve Peters, if you would.
Okay, well, let's see. I grew up in East Texas in Longview, and I attended Longview High, went to Ouachita University, got an undergraduate degree in theater from Ouachita, and then went on to Baylor University, got my master's degree in theater at Baylor, and taught for a couple of years and decided it was time to get a PhD. I was more interested in the administrative and business side of the arts, of all of the arts, and so I attended an innovative PhD program at the time at Texas Tech University, which was a PhD in arts administration. And it was really one of the very few in the country. So I was happy to be accepted into that program. I got my PhD and spent the rest of my career as a teacher and arts administrator. So started with an interest in theater, and became more and more interested in the interaction of all the arts, especially in the field of collaboration, and did all my research in the field of collaboration and the social construction of creativity.
I see. Well, that's why I said there's more to the story and quite a background. Having the love of, at one point, I still do, the performing arts. At one time, a musician, band, what have you. But so Steve has a lot to cover here to share, especially in this second part. So I'm going to ask you to stay with us. Well, I guess you do have family.
I do.
Yes.
I have. My wife and I have been married 45 years. We have two great children, a son who is married and lives in Houston and works at NASA as a test engineer. And our youngest son, Matthew, works in Kansas City with Populous. It's an architectural firm that designs entertainment venues and sports arenas. They did the Las Vegas Sphere. So he works as a junior architect with that firm. So we've got two great guys and their families, and they love theater. I'd always tried to cast them in plays when I was directing at Baylor, and they were little kids, and they always came in handy and learned every line and knew everybody else's lines. But they decided to, one with James going into the field of aerospace engineering, and then Matthew going into architecture. So I've got a son in the in the sciences and a son in the arts. So I think I have the best of both worlds.
Oh,
It puts them all together.
I'd say.
And my wife is a special ed educator, and she also has a degree in theater.
Oh,
So
my.
we're quite
What a
a very
combination.
kind of
huh?
diverse
And your wife's
family.
name?
Sandra.
Sandra.
Mhm.
Great,
And she
great.
actually was born and grew up here in California, which is why we ended up, when I retired last year, we ended up coming back to her hometown. So I
Yes.
get to take advantage of the beautiful scenery in Missouri to do my paintings.
Well, now you have these sons that used to perform and be part of your presentations. Are they able to step on the stage these days?
You know, Rick, they're not active as artists on the stage anymore. I think they kind of got their fill of being the children in a play when they were young. But they love to go to the theater. They love music. My son and his wife Miranda, who also works at NASA, they have season tickets for the Alley Theater.
Oh,
So
I see.
when we visit them, we always go to the Alley. Our other son is really interested in architecture, but also history and a number of other things outside of the arts. So they're
That's
very
great.
interested in other things besides their careers,
Right.
which is really enriching, I
Oh,
think.
yes, I think so. Well, that might change. I'm
Yeah.
busier now, going to different different job offers, playing grandfather or what have you. So that might change.
Yeah, you never know. I'll never say never.
What what really inspired you, as you pre-mentioned, your career and passion for the fine arts and theater? What inspired you initially? Was that something that just was ingrained? I'm always talking about in our DNA, like our artwork, but performing, or can you identify with that?
Yeah, you know, I would have to say, when I was a little kid, and you don't know this about me, I would get the kids in the neighborhood and we would go to the park, which was adjacent to our house, and I would stage these little musicals on the picnic tables in the
great.
park
Uh-huh.
for the kids.
So,
So I have no idea. I
Good
think as a
answer.
child, I just had that interest.
so he might be in his DNA. I'm always talking about the caveman, where the one caveman would send the hunters out and say, "Go get the meat and for supper or whatever," and then I'll just stay here and write on the walls and record this event. So
Yeah.
I guess I kind of laugh about it, but that was brought up in a presentation that I attended, and I thought maybe the gentleman down around Cape Girardeau, Missouri, brought up a good point.
Yeah, yeah. You never know. It's really a mystery, but it was just something that I was interested in doing. I wanted to play the piano. I liked dancing. I think both of my parents were very creative. My dad was a businessman, but he was also a very gifted in many ways. And my mom was an entertainer in the USO tours in Texas when before they got married. So, and then my mom was always involved in musicals in our local community theater.
Sure, I
So
see.
I got to go to a rehearsal of Oklahoma one evening, and that just kind of I really loved that. That was kind of a crystallizing moment for me. But then I went into journalism. In high school, I was the editor of my high school paper, and I went to college to major in journalism. And inadvertently, my roommate was a theater major
Oh, I see.
who became later a professional entertainer in Aspen. But he had to go to auditions for a play, and he wanted me to go along. I said, okay, I'll go along. So I watched, and then they finally coached me into getting up on the stage. And I did, and I got cast in this little Noel Coward comedy,
I see.
Nude with Violin. And I was a theater major from then on.
I see.
So I found a group of friends that I could bond with who had similar interests, and I think so much of what a theater background is, and at least it was for me, and has been for a lot of the students that I've seen in my career, finding a place where you belong and feel like you can be who you are and become who you'd like to be. So I think theater is a rich field for people to become what they'd like to be.
Well, if you're not an athlete,
yeah, same thing in athletics.
so
I think it's a team.
It's your opportunity to really set your pattern. I guess in Missouri, I guess you lit the fire, as they say.
So to speak.
I say, great. Well, what continues you now to be inspired? Are you now involved in theater, or I know you are involved in your arts? I know.
Yeah, I've always painted and sketched, and so one of the things that I've just always done that I loved to do was to paint. And so having retired last year, I would say for about the last 10 years, I've been doing more and more painting. It's really a centering activity for me. I find it really meaningful. I give most of my paintings away to family. So it's just something I'm able to do to give to others. And so I've been doing more and more since I retired, and it's challenging. I love it. I'm more or less self-taught, although because of my work as a dean in arts administration, I've had opportunities to have little mini conversations with lots of visual artists who have given me tips, and I could ask questions, and they would, give me little pointers here and there. So I'm not really self-taught. I've really been
picked up a little here,
taught by all the people that I've been able to work with in my career.
Well, your artwork speaks highly of your talent. I looked at your art the first time, I compared it to some of the old master techniques. As you'll see, as we put some of the artwork here on the timeline, it reminds me of some of the old English Quaker or even artists in the past. So I'm very inspired. And I look forward to, since Steve is new to the area, I look forward to inviting him to different association meetings and opportunities that I share through the program, interviewing close to 300 people here on Spotlight on the Arts. So I'm really anxious to take Steve along in the car, as they say, and show him a few of the other talented artists.
Well, I would be very honored. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, in the second segment, we'll share a couple of your favorites in both the fine arts and theater. And but before time gets away from us, could you give us your contact information where someone would want to look at a commission or maybe purchase one of your fine arts?
Sure.
Or learn more about the theater, or may even make you an offer to work with one of the locals, like the Liberty Center in Sedalia. They have great presentations there in an old building that goes clear back to the 30s, where they held live performances and plays.
Sure.
So,
sure. My Gmail is stevepeters2116@gmail.com. And my Instagram is Steve_Peters_paints. on Instagram. So
Super. That's too great to work with, that's for sure. Well, I guess we better take a break. So please make yourself comfortable while we look at these special messages. After the break, Steve will fill us in more detail of his passion for the fine arts and theater. There's so much more here on Spotlight on the Arts. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone, to Spotlight on the Arts. I continue with my special guest, Steve Peters. Well, Steve, before the break, we shared a lot of information. So let's continue along those lines of thought and concentration, expression. Let's talk, if you can, more in depth. Anything we didn't cover in the under the line of fine arts, the fine arts. Anything you would like to add that might inspire someone else, or some of the shows that you perform that you're really proud of?
Well, my work in theater was primarily as a director.
Oh,
And so I started directing plays and became gradually more and more interested in some of the design elements of theatrical production. Building sets, which goes back to working with my dad as a child, building various additions onto our house.
sure.
But I became more and more interested in the stagecraft. I taught stagecraft and designed sets. And so my work my professional career as an educator in theater began as a technical director and designer. And so that led me into, I think when I went back to get my master's degree, I was put on various crews, costume crews, set design, lighting crews, electrical crews, prop crews. So I really began working in all the other design elements of the arts, and I really enjoyed that. And then I became more and more interested in how all those elements work together in directing, so that a production becomes a cohesive piece of art,
Right.
or a cohesive work on the stage, which led me into more of an interest in, well, how does the business end work with this, and how does an educator bring people together to create a college that is a 21st century college of the arts, and what would that mean? And for me, it meant that we had come out of the 20th century theater of the me, which was all centered around a particular practitioner of theater, director, scene designer, playwright, etc. Out of the 20th century concept of the creativity is about one person's vision, the me, whoever the me is, into more of a democratized theater where everybody has a vision and a contributing thought or practice that leads to more of a creation of the we. And so that invites one to really explore creativity not as an individual attribute, but as a collective construction.
Teamwork.
And so much like a sports team, everybody has a specialty and they play first base or second base or
Yes.
quarterback or whatever. In a collaboration, everybody can also have a a part in the actual way that that particular event happens.
And it takes all parts.
And it does.
No missing link. It has to be complete.
Yeah, and then and so as a dean, I was interested in creating an atmosphere where artists could work across traditional academic boundaries, where the visual artists could work with theatrical artists or musicians or vocal artists, designers, and in the field of camera work and broadcasting and all those various enterprises, how they all come together, and how artists could break out of their own particular silos and work together.
Yes.
And so that idea about a 21st century enterprise has at its very core the whole concept of collaboration.
Yes.
And we see it in not only in the arts, we see it in the world around us, because there's no one solution or one perspective from which you can solve any problems in the world today. Mm-hmm. And the same is true in the arts.
Yes.
So that was a great way for me to have a career and attract people who would be participants in that vision.
And to enhance that, I understand, my research tells me that you developed a fine arts building in your city.
At the University of Montevallo, my last project was to create a center for the arts, which would give everybody in my college a home for collaborating with each other. So it was quite a project, but it was a culminating project for that university that was already known for the arts long before I even got there, but that could become a leader in what 21st century creativity looked like, and how to engage students in the whole process, so that teachers were learning from students and students from teachers, and working across traditional boundaries.
Excellent, yeah. Well, Steve, do you have any favorites you'd like to talk about in your arts? I understand that we basically talked about a little bit about A Friday Night Light and a Bittersweet Morning, two of your favorites. Can you tell us the story behind those two?